So for those of you who are joining us for the first time and those of you who are coming back and being part of an Inner Space Covent Garden event, welcome. Our event today is letting go of grudges, anger, resentment. It's funny, we were discussing this morning that any one of those is actually embedded in pain or hurt. And that's why we end up holding on to them. So holding on to our grudges or anger, even resentment, it doesn't feel good and it certainly doesn't look good. It weighs us down and keeps us stuck in a narrative that no longer serves us or others. It does nothing positive for our reasoning or our relationships. So releasing grudges, anger, resentment, and learning to breathe is part of the journey. It's about setting yourself free to heal and feel inner peace and joy, to let go and to grow, to let go and move forward. So we've asked our speaker to share her insights on the why, the when, and the how of letting go of grudges, anger, and resentment, and cultivating emotional resilience. Our speaker today is Manda Patel. She is the coordinator of the Global Retreat Center in Nuneham Courtenay, which is our main international retreat center. And she's been doing that for almost 30 years. She's the coordinator for the Brahma Kumaris activities in the north and south of England, and now she's part of the national coordinating team for the United Kingdom. Manda is going to be sharing for around 45 minutes, and then after that, she's going to do a short meditation. The idea of the meditation is for you to be able to allow what you've heard to settle in your mind, in your heart, so that the impact of that is something that you can then take into your everyday life immediately. After the meditation, she'll be taking your questions. So please send in your questions via the question and answer link, and I'll take those questions and put them to Manda on your behalf. Manda, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Aarti. Hello, everyone. Greetings and thank you for being here with us today to let's get my spend time together exploring this very important subject. You know, whenever I have to give some narrative, if you like, or some insight into any topic, my first point of reference is my own experience. And believe it or not, for when I first started my own journey, spiritual journey, I kept hearing, don't get angry, you mustn't get angry, you mustn't get angry, you mustn't get angry, it's not good to get angry. And I heard that, at least my ears heard that, but I didn't really hear it in my heart and in my soul, if you like. But as years went by, I began to realize that actually my anger comes from pain, as has already been mentioned. It comes from my own cumulative experiences of sorrow. It comes from my need to protect myself from those negative experiences. And as I began to think about it like that, then I began to think about anger differently. But at the same time, also, realizing that it's something that I have to recognize. What the recognition has to be of the further pain and sorrow that I'm causing to myself by resorting to anger. Now, I know that it's not always the case. Sometimes it is, not always the case that you make a calculative decision to get angry. It comes like a surge, like an energy, like a reaction of sometimes a tornado of emotions that actually get your heart rate going. You have uneasy feeling in your stomach, almost as if your head is exploding. So you can imagine this strong emotion of anger, what it does to your physical body too. Your nervous system goes completely out of kilter, and you become anxious, and you become irritable as well as angry. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not a calculative decision. It just happens with a lot of force. And this has detrimental effect on one's own self. Firstly, to one's psyche, and secondly, even to one's own body. I heard that 10 minutes of anger has an effect on your physical, on your nervous system of your body for 6 hours. The effect is left on your body for 6 hours. That's a very long time. So you can imagine what's going on in your heart rate, in your brain, and all of that as well. And so I also feel that this feeling of being unsafe, or this feeling of being violated by another, it's not just a feeling of the moment. There is a memory of that from one's own past, whether it's childhood experiences or even in adulthood when there's been severe, strong experiences that there are those unresolved emotions that we haven't been able to deal with our own selves. They get suppressed into the body as this very strong energy and very strong emotion. Sometimes your body, your nervous system, picks up threats or violence or violation coming at you way before you psychologically picked it up. And so then this energy comes to the surface of wanting to defend yourself. And apparently, this is our brain's function. The brain's function is that when it sees, detects that there is danger, then it produces more hormones that bring up the surge of energy to protect itself. So what I suppose where I'm going with this is that this sense that I am out of control, and instead of feeling helpless, instead of feeling at a loose end with this feeling of emotion, I wonder if we can get to a place inside ourselves and accept it. Accept that I feel like this, and I feel like this because I do have some very painful experiences that I haven't resolved. Nowadays, all of us, and I include myself in this, that from time to time, we need help in resolving certain mindsets or certain emotions or certain feelings that we have. And so, yes, if I need help with those, yes, I can take some help for a while. But I think, and I don't mean that it's always essential to unpack what caused it, who caused it, why did it cause it, and that I'm going to get them to pay for it, so to speak. I'm not sure that always that is the solution to it. So for me, and I really still work in progress, and sometimes I'm not even angry, but I can come across so strong and forceful, which is interpreted by other people as anger. And it feels like that to them, that I'm angry. And it's not that I'm angry, but I feel strongly about something. And this energy comes from within the self. And I'm really trying to tame that, really trying to tame that. And it doesn't come easy. So, what I feel, the work that I've started to do is recognize the energy within my own physical body, even. You know, every cell of the physical body has memories of experiences of the past. And it may not be the detail of the experience, but it can be an emotion, a feeling, or an emotion probably that I haven't been able to resolve. And sometimes, as I said, you might resolve it, but sometimes it's not even a question of that. But sometimes it's really sensing its presence in your physical body, in your heart, in your stomach, in your chest. Sometimes it's just that. And when I recognize that, then first and foremost, to come to a place of acceptance that there is something inside of me that makes me feel unsafe, uncertain. It makes me um, feel upset or angry, whatever it might be. And to really be aware and hold that feeling, accept it, so that you can own it. Because if you don't own it, then you're always thinking that somebody else is causing anger inside of you. Other people's behavior, wrong behavior, absolutely, don't deny that, but they're triggering something inside of me. Even if I say somebody else is wrong and that they should put their behavior right, I'm not sure that I will necessarily stop getting angry just because they've changed. There'll be something else that will trigger that inside of me. And so to grow, to understand, to be able to be free, I have to accept and stop the resistance to my own feelings of anger. Because if I resist, then I can't resolve it. I can't do anything about it. So acceptance, and then no resistance. And the third thing I feel I'm still learning to do for myself is compassion. Compassion, to recognize that there have been, I'm sorry, there is suddenly the sun's decided to come out. So now my screen is a little bit different. So I hope that's going to be okay, or I move. So yeah, just to have a great deal of compassion. And in order to have compassion, it means that when I do feel a sense of anger coming up, or a sense of feeling unsafe coming up, then I really sit with myself. Take a deep breath. So taking that deep breath and being aware of the breath going inside from my nostrils down all the way into my abdomen, and allowing the breath to affect every cell of my body. Because when you tap into your breath, I think what happens is that you tap into the natural rhythm of life. And this rhythm actually is very gentle. It is very soft. It's in the it's pulsating naturally and automatically. And I do love this word rhythm, because when you think of it as rhythm, it's a rhythm of harmony. It's a rhythm of alignment that's so natural. Like, when you're breathing, then it's such an automatic thing. It's a natural thing. And when you're breathing naturally and automatically, you know that your body is present, your body is calm, your body is peaceful. And whatever feelings have been there in the past in terms of our anger, another aspect of freeing myself. And I have a little bit of a thing with this letting go. When you use the word letting go, it's almost as if, there you go, I let it go and it's gone. It's not quite like that, because it's made such a home inside ourselves. So it's a journey to be free. Perhaps that language I prefer, that I'm on a journey to free myself from my feelings of anger. I'll come to grudges and resentment and all of that in a minute, because I feel that the primary emotion or strong emotion in all of this is anger. And it's when there is anger that I hold on to grudges and resentment and so on. But I feel that what anger has done to us is that it has made us lose sight of the intrinsic nature of I, the spirit. It has made me lose sight of my intrinsic nature of goodness, because it's not just inside of me, this anger, it's inside everyone. I see it around me. And I also know that when it comes at me, it's really hard. It's really, you can feel 2 inches tall when it comes at you. Sometimes it might be justified. Often it's not justified when it comes at us. So the fear of anger from outside of us also makes us react with fear. But two negatives don't make a positive. Two negatives only make a negative. And so as I work with myself in this journey of compassion for myself, I also have to consciously and deliberately forgive myself, let alone forgiving other people. But firstly, I have to forgive my own self. Firstly, I have to look at this whole aspect of how much I am treating my own self badly. When I consider myself, I get angry and then I feel bad about myself. I get angry even when I don't want to get angry. Words come out of my mouth. As they're coming out of my mouth, I know this is a bad idea. Don't say these things. But before my intellect, my head has tried to kind of align with the words, it's too late. The words are out. And when those words have come out, it's difficult to pull back in. The damage is done. And so then I feel bad about myself. And this happens over and over again. It happens in terms of anger. It happens in terms of things that we do which upset other people, where we become the cause of pain and sorrow for other people, all of these things. And so when we have a saying in India, the moment you wake up, the morning begins from that time. So up until now, I've been angry, but how much do I realize the damage? I know I don't want to get angry, but I think one of the ways to come to terms or recognize the depth and the effect of that anger, and it's something that's helped me a lot when I've become upset about something, is writing my emotions down, writing my feelings down. If I want to be free from my anger, can I treat anger as an entity inside me? I've done that. There is this entity called anger. It's as if I become another person. So if I want to be free from it, I'm not going to say let go. I'm going to say, if I want to be free from it, can I have a dialogue with it? You are here. When you are here, this is what happens. When when you've become present in my story, in my life, I've been able to do this for myself, or I've not been able to do this for myself. I've used you when I'm threatened. I've used you when I've become violated. And in one sense, you've made me feel safe. But at the same time, as feeling safe, I've also felt very vulnerable. And it's as if in the process I've damaged myself. Now, thank you for being there all this time in my life, but how can I be free from you now? Because I want to take charge and responsibility of my own way of being. And so then in this journal, you can even take situations and circumstances and say, okay, today this happened and I got angry with this person and I said this and I said that, and I really didn't mean all of those things. They just came out of my mouth because I was upset and angry. When this occurs, when you start to write all of these things down, somehow you dissipate the energy. You dissipate the energy of anger, and you can't become calm, and you delve into another part of you that says, okay, what can I do in this place, in this situation? This person did this, they said that, and they said the other. But now, what could I have said without anger? How could I have behaved without anger that would have helped me and perhaps even helped that person? When you start to have a conversation with yourself in this way, conversation with anger, then actually you try to see it in the light of transforming it. It serves you in the moment. And yes, you do need serving. So what is it that you can take in its place that will serve you? So all of these aspects then makes you build a relationship with that, but also makes you build a relationship with situations and circumstances that come your way. And when those situations and circumstances come, then you tap into that deeper part of you. And of course, I'm on a spiritual journey, and my go-to reference, my go-to practice is the practice of the awareness of myself as a spiritual being, a spiritual energy, this thinking, living, conscient, spiritual being. Intrinsically, this is who I am. This is what I am. And actually, anger also comes because in the process, I've lost my self-worth. I've lost value for myself because of situations, because of violations, because of threats, because of pain and sorrow and suffering that came from outside. Sometimes it was my fault. Sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes I was completely naive. All of this came, but the aftermath what I'm left with is a profound sense of unworthiness, profound sense of I'm no good. I'm not a good person because these things have happened to me. And the interesting thing is that it's not a conscious thought that says I'm not good, but the way I treat myself, the way I relate to myself, the way I don't serve myself are all reflections of what I think of myself. When actually, spiritually speaking, I am goodness. I am this compassionate, forgiving, loving, and peaceful spirit. Think about it for a moment, that when you are not angry, or perhaps remember people that you do love, people that you think or feel haven't hurt you until now. What are the emotions and feelings they bring up for in you? So clearly you have the potential for those feelings. Clearly you can be kind. You can be compassionate. You can be loving to your friends that you care for. How much am I able to do the same for my own self? When I do something wrong, even when I get angry, when I don't want to get angry, can I automatically just say, okay, it's all right, it's okay, calm down, don't worry about it, you're on a journey. Can I really be compassionate with myself and be forgiving of myself? Simple, 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 simple. Can I be kind to myself? If your friend makes a mistake and comes and tells you, he or she comes and tells you, oh, this happened and I feel so bad about it, what will you say? You won't say, yeah, go ahead, feel bad about it. You should feel bad about it. No, you won't. You'll be kind, you'll be compassionate, and you'll say, actually, well, don't beat yourself up about it. These things happen. It's okay. Tomorrow you'll be different. Tomorrow it'll be something else. You won't do that. You would console them. You would offer them consolation. So, can you do the same for your own self? And can I, when I do that for myself, can I sit with that? You know, I heard a while ago an interesting aspect, that is that experiences of joy come, but you tend to let them go. But when there's experiences of pain or sorrow or suffering, somehow they stay with you more. You think of them, they leave an impact on your physical body, your energy is different, you recall them again and again, and so they become embedded in your psyche. But when moments of joy happen, you have to do the same. When moments of joy happen, it takes 30 seconds to notice moments of joy. Be with them. Feel their energy and allow that energy to go inside yourself and sense the difference that makes. So in the same way, whenever there is a positive experience that happened, when you have victories where you could have potentially got angry and you could say, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to really be calm. I'm going to let them hear what they have to say, and I'll just hear it. We have this saying that if somebody offers you anger, even gets angry with you, offer them flowers. Now, they might get even more upset, but it's not literal that you offer them flowers, but could you offer them just some energy of peace? You hear what they have to say, you're very present with them, But you have to shield yourself, protect yourself so that their energy doesn't affect you. So all of these methods that we adopt, because, then grudges and resentment comes from anger. They're children of anger. Anger is the big parent, but these are grudges grudges and resentments are offsprings, if you like, of anger. And even when I have grudges, a grudge against someone, then I think of it as an energy, a stagnant energy that is sitting inside of me. The flow of life is constantly moving and it's changing. It's never the same. The only place it remains the same is in my own head, because I recall it in that way. But can I really just recognize that the law of life is a flow and a movement and energy? If I hold on to grudges inside of me, then my heart, my mind becomes like a stagnant energy. And I love the example of a pond of water, and we have a river right behind here where we are at the retreat center. And when the sun is setting and it's in that direction, as the sun sets, the water is sparkling, it's moving, it's flowing, and you can feel the flow of the water. But if you have stagnant water, then it doesn't matter how shiny the sun is, but that water doesn't allow that the sun, the brightness of the sun doesn't make the water sparkle, because and also there's bad smell, there's slime and dirt, and people put more rubbish in such a pond, a stagnant pond. So holding grudges, I think of it like that. Do I want my heart to be like that stagnant pond, or do I want my heart to be like a flowing river? So let me adopt this principle that everything that's happened is gone. Can I stay in the present moment? And I can only let go of the things of the past when I've learned the lessons that I've got to learn. Even if someone behaves badly with me, there's something that I've got to learn from that. Even if they're wrong, sometimes they might behave badly, but they might be right in what they're saying. Or if they behave badly and what they're saying is wrong, even then I've got something to learn. And what I've got to learn, if nothing else, is letting go, forgiveness, compassion, that maybe even see that they must have had a hard day today. Maybe things have been difficult for them today and they needed someone to get it out on, and I happened to be the one in front of them. Could I really make my heart so big and generous? But all of this comes fundamentally when I develop my own self-worth, when I develop my own value, when I develop my own practice of being at peace with myself, being with love with my own self. I'm not saying loving myself, because then raises another set of questions. What does it mean to love yourself? But love is not a commodity that you can give to someone else or even yourself for that matter. It's a way of being. It's a state of being. It's a state in which you are at one with yourself. You are okay with who you are and what you are. Doesn't matter what it is today, but you are on a journey of exploring yourself. So and resentment, the same thing. If I resent someone, then I'm actually resenting life itself. Because everybody, I resent someone for something, someone else loves them for whatever else, other aspects that are there within them. So who's the one that's missing out on something that that person might make a contribution about in my life? I am the one. And truly, I think it is possible to have relationships of kindness and acceptance with everyone. But that is a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that I have to choose. It's something that I do have to give time and energy to, and I have to have patience with it. But it is possible to change. One of the ways in which we can build self-respect is to learn a practice of meditation, not just any practice. The practice that makes me see that I am intrinsically peace. I am intrinsically love, despite everything else, even about me. It's true that as time has gone on, since I forgot that I am a spiritual being and that I am intrinsically good, since I forgot that, I took on all the negativity that came along my way, whether it was through people or situations or circumstances. Our culture is actually designed for that. You're a male, you're a female, you're young, you're old, you're tall, you're thin, you're ugly, you're beautiful. These compartments that have been created because we've become part of this ever-changing world, and everything in this world is based on what people see and what people experience on a physical level, where in actual fact, recognizing that I am more than just the external and the physical. I am this living being that matters. I am this living being who has the potential within it of being completely at peace and in love. And I don't mean in love with someone else, particularly just necessarily, but in love with life. That wisdom is also the intrinsic nature of the human spirit. That joy is also something that I choose. Joy is a choice. Peace is also a choice. Love is also a choice. But I'm making a choice on the basis of knowing that I am already that, but that I forgot that. So when we meditate here, we meditate not with this idea that I've got to become peaceful, I've got to take peace from somewhere else, but the premise that actually I'm already peace. Can you get that? I am already peace. And so what I'm then doing in meditation is practicing thoughts of peace, and they're not just thoughts. Know that your thoughts are not just thoughts. Your thoughts are an energy. Your thoughts are a seed. A seed in a sense that the moment you have a thought, it's like a seed. You've taken a seed in your hand and planted it in the soil. But when you have a thought, the thought is a seed that you've planted in the atmosphere. in the vibration, even in the minds of others. Think about that for a moment. So often things happen to us and we say, but I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. They bad behaved. They got angry with me. Is that really true always? And so it's a very powerful thought to consider. My thoughts are like a seed, and a seed has a potential for a huge tree to emerge. And a tree that has this tree that bears many fruits, has branches and twigs and amazing fruits and flowers. And my thought is exactly the same. One little seed, but a powerful outcome. So let's have a few minutes of meditation together, as that's on our agenda. And let's just think about the feeling, the emotion of anger when it comes, or even resentment or grudges. When there's a feeling of a grudge with someone, there is so much distance between you and that person. When it's resentment, it's almost as if there is negative energy bubbling all the time between you and that person. Forget about the effect that that has on others. Think about the effect that it has on you, first of all. Let's not go into right and wrong. Let's just be with what we feel in that moment. So how do I allow myself to be free, even momentarily, from a sense of anger, frustration, resentment, irritation, even? Upset is also a form of anger. What does it mean to be free from all of that? It means to be at peace. It means to be peaceful. It means to be in comfort and ease with my own self. To allow all expressions from myself come from that awareness of myself as this profound peace. Just as breathing in and breathing out is the natural rhythm of life. When I tap into that, I automatically and naturally become quiet and at one with myself. And this gives me the greatest feeling of safety, emotional safety, psychological safety. I only allow what serves me to come inside myself. And any negativity from outside of me doesn't serve me. So let me protect myself. Because I am the most important person to myself. And I stay at peace. And actually, when I consistently spend time at peace with myself, I spend time with the companion of peace, which is love. Love not as an emotion, but love as a state of being. I mean, I am significant and meaningful, not just through my consciousness, but I express this through my vision of love, through my words of kindness, and my actions of cooperation with others. It's important to make my life a life that also supports others. When I support them, I too am supported by my own self, by producing this positivity and goodness. I realize, in fact, that anger is not a weapon that I need, but actually, I need the weapon of love. Not a weapon that fights, but a weapon that supports. Think of love as a weapon, peace as a weapon. These weapons are a powerful tool. And I give the gift of this to myself every day, to build the powerful and strong energy within myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Manda, for taking us on that journey. And a few questions have come in, so let me start with those. The first one is a two-part question, and it begins with asking if there's been, you've been abused or badly treated, and you talked about this a little earlier, but you've learned to turn the anger against yourself, never expressing it. The technique that you were suggesting of dialoguing with the anger, is that possible even when you find it difficult to express anger?
Mm. It's a good question. I think that initially you might need some help from outside to help you come to terms with what happened, because sometimes, and once you come to terms with it, okay, it happened. I couldn't do anything about it at the time, and that people who did it, they did it, but now I have to sort that out. I think that if you take some help with someone to come to that place, first of all, and then I feel that it would be possible. But if your relationship with anger is one of anger, then you can't do it. You have to think of anger as an entity that you want to make peace with, and you can start to relate to it in a different way. Then it's possible. Everything is possible. It just takes maybe deeper and longer effort to do that. But as I say, you might take help from someone else to begin with to help you make meaning of all of that happened and what's the residues of what's left. And then you could do it.
Thank you. The second part of the question is, in your understanding, does holding on to grudges long term turn it into a serious illness potential? And is letting go a big part of the healing?
Oh, absolutely. I think that any negative emotion that we hold on consciously or unconsciously, or emotions that we have and we spot them, and emotions sometimes that we have, we don't even realize them, they do cause illness. Absolutely. And releasing those, letting those go is a big part of healing. And I'm speaking from my own experience. And in the beginning, when I, if something, and I still do it though, if something happens, if I have a fall or I, damage something or something is paining somewhere, then I do go to the Louise Hay book of where she talks about which emotion or which illness comes from which kind of emotion. And I may try and make some correlations between those, and if there's something that I can do to release it, then I do it. But I do feel definitely there's locked emotion inside of all of us. And they say 98% of illnesses are psychosomatic. Psychosomatic doesn't mean that you've just conjured them up, but it means that there's these emotions that are there that have an effect on your physical body. They don't really necessarily, there isn't anything wrong with the physical body, but the emotion creates the feeling of discomfort and pain as well. So yes, in a word, answer to both of those aspects is a yes. Our negative emotions cause pain and illness, and releasing them, they say that anger is to do with liver, that you store anger in your liver, and so you have problems with liver. This is what they say.
Next question. You talked about how the connection between the nervous system and anger. Did you read this in a book? And could you tell us about it, or was it a podcast? Could you tell us
No,
where to research it further?
from my own experience, I think. I don't think I researched any books or anything like that. But probably if you do Google or ask ChatGPT, I'm sure something will come up. But no, it was my own experience, actually. I haven't read it anywhere because I haven't read so much about it, but my own experience. That's all I can say. Because, with anger, you get agitated, you get irritated, you get anxious. All of these things come, and all of these are related to your nervous system. You can't sit still. It's all related. It's all related. So, no, I'm afraid I didn't read it anywhere, just my own experience.
Thank you. Next question. How do you change your attitude towards someone? This person meditates, but when they are in the presence of this person, a certain person, the grudge comes up and they don't feel they can change.
Mm.
And is this something to do with a previous birth, a past life?
It could be past life, previous birth, or this life, or whenever it might be. It could be. But I think in a situation like that, you especially have to work at removing, first of all, what is it that's causing resentment? Is it something they do, some behavior that they have, or whatever? So, what is my vision towards that person? The thing is, no matter how bad someone might be, there's always a good side to them too. So if I want to change my attitude towards somebody, then I have to also start seeing something else that they do that is good, that they are, that is positive. And I'm absolutely sure that everybody has something. It's not that they don't. And so I have to work on that side of things. And yes, it could be from past birth, it could be from this birth. If it's past birth, it's even stronger because it's so unconscious and it's so uh, so unconscious that you don't even realize it. Then it can even be harder, which is where, again, the deeper practice of meditation comes in as well, in that you clean your own psyche out. You keep cleaning, keep cleaning, keep cleaning your own psyche, or your soul, if you like, of your own ego, your own anger, your own frustration, your own negativity. As you keep cleaning and filling yourself with positivity and beauty and truth, then you could change the vision. They can be however they want to be, but you look at them because of what you are, not because of what they are. This is a very powerful thing. To see someone on the basis of what you are, not on the basis of what they are. This is very powerful.
Mm. And it leads to freedom, ultimately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you've already partially answered this, but I will ask the question anyway. What if there's mutual dislike? Are there some relationships that are beyond repair?
Um, that's a tricky question. Um, in a sentence, I would say no relationships are beyond repair. But how much you are willing to continue to hold the vision of repair. One person can hold the vision of repair, and um, it may not be that. It may be that it's not going to happen straight away. It might be that you need a distance, you need a physical distance, you need an emotional distance, and you can come back to the original state of being of that relationship. So maybe it's not about repair, but maybe it's just about going back to the beginning. When you think of repair, you think that you've got to sort something out, something, resolve something. I don't, sometimes it's not even beyond, it's not about that. I think sometimes it might even just be that you jump away and above that into a place of just acceptance. Just, if you don't want to use the word love, don't use the word love, but I feel you could just be as if anybody that you are with anybody in the world that you might meet, and you just meet them with courtesy and politeness, and that's it. It is possible. That's more possible. Repair might not seem possible, but don't think about repair. Think about just letting go and moving on, because they are also a spiritual being. You're a spiritual being. Ultimately, like attracts like. Ultimately, if you have forgiveness, if you let go, then they can only be that. They can't be anything else. So maybe it's a question of language.
Thank you. Next question. How do you change how you recall experiences that have hurt you?
How do you change? Well, I think it's not about change. I think it's about replacing those experiences with the experiences that have served you. No, we have this saying here, remember the days of your childhood. And where there's innocence, there's purity, there's laughter, there's joy. And this innocence of, things happen, but you don't hold it against yourself or against anybody else. You move on, and life is just a big game. So I think that we can learn to replace the negative experiences by remembering those experiences that are joyful, that are beautiful, that have served you, that have been meaningful to you. So recall those experiences more than the other experiences will not come to the surface. They're only there because you remember them. But what if you didn't remember them? So it's not changing, it's replacing.
Somebody's asking which Louise Hay's book were you referring to?
In fact, I'll show you. There is a little book. This one, it sits. Oh, okay, you can't read it. Oh, no,
No, that way. Yeah.
Heal Your Body.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a write-up, but mostly it's full of all the different ailments that you can see and what causes what and that sort of thing. I find it helpful because it helps me take responsibility for what happens to me. Like, paralysis, it says here, and fear, terror, escaping a situation or person or resistance. And then what you do replace it with is, I'm one with all of life. I'm totally adequate for all situations. So it's just a little thing, just this little book. And usually a version of this I carry with me, that if ever anything happens to me, I can look at it and create, from a negative experience, create a positive experience.
There's 2 questions. Have you got the time? I know we're overrunning.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so very quickly. What if believing that we are consciousness in a human body is just an illusion to make this life more bearable?
Well, so what? If you want to believe that it's an illusion, but it works, then I say use it. And then as you continue to use, it's our left brain kicking in that's saying that, well, it's an illusion. But if it works, if it makes the quality of your life better, I would say experiment with it for 6 months and then realize whether it's a reality or an illusion.
And the final question for you. In relationships, when someone is holding a grudge against you and they're just waiting for you to slip up so that you've proved their point, how do you not buy into it? You mentioned developing self-worth. Can you explore that a little more for us?
Especially people like that, when they're in our lives, they make us even more stronger. They make us look at ourselves even more and make us see our own strengths and come into that strength and into our power. So to see them in that way, instead of seeing them as a challenge, but a challenge that it serves me, a challenge that allows me to grow. And I feel that we have to see it like that. If they're waiting to slip up, if they're waiting to see me slip up, so I can't live in fear. I can't live in fear that I'm going to slip up. If I slip up, so I slip up. So be it, and let's see what happens. And you will have some tools to deal with it. There's no question about that. If you have that conviction about yourself and about your own value and about your own capabilities and capacities, then when the time comes, you will use it. But you cannot live your life in fear of what someone else might do to you. You have to only do to yourself what is right for you.
It really brings us to the end of the evening. Manda, it's been an absolute delight having you. People have been saying that you've answered all their questions in your talk. And thank you for taking the time and answering their questions as well. So it's been an absolute delight. Thank you.